You are listening to the Be a Better Being podcast, hosted by the founder of Better Beings, Michelle Zellner. Michelle's experiences have equipped her with knowledge and perspective, and for nearly 3 decades, she has been informing, influencing, and inspiring thousands on their journeys. This show spotlights guests of diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise, but they all align with Michelle's purpose and passion to help you be a better human being. There is something for everyone on their way to a healthier, happier life. Enjoy the show.
Greetings. Thank you for tuning into the Be a Better Being podcast. We're recording this episode on June 17th to be published on June 23rd. And my guest needs absolutely no introduction. My dear friend Sasha is back to do a summer sync up with me. So I'm so excited, my friend. How are you?
I'm so eager to report that for the first time since the inception of this podcast, I feel like myself. I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm good.
You are so much more than good. I mean, It is, I mean, obviously I would assume the listeners know you and I stay in touch like every single day. So I know all the things that have been going on. And that's why I definitely wanted you to come on and to just get to share, because the audience, they ask me about you and they wonder, like, is she ever going to come back? And are you guys okay? And we are so more than okay. But you're right. When we launched this and when I met you, you were in some of your darkest times. Now, I didn't know that because I didn't have anything to compare it against. Like, this is just this amazing Sasha dropped into my world. And as we got to know each other and I got to be invited into your inner space, I mean, I learned a lot and I was along for a lot of that. And to see where you are now, it's like, it gives me chills and goosebumps, because I don't know that I've ever really been that intimately connected to someone who has gone through what you did and literally is coming out the other side of it. And then to continue to get to be for all of the greatness that is to come is like, I don't know. I just feel like super lucky. So yeah.
Yeah. I would challenge anyone that's listening to this to dream big. And whatever that means when I say it, like the very first thing that you think of, like, oh, I wish I would get back into, or I wish I would pursue, or I wish I would be disciplined enough to do, like whatever it is that when I say dream big, what is the first industry? What is the first spark, the first zap, whatever that is, you need to do it. Like, you need to do it. You have to dream big.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about how some of the pauses and the resets are so necessary for the next phase, right? So let's just start at January of 2025.
Oh, man.
I know it feels like forever ago, doesn't it?
These are so hard for me to do because it's like time no longer exists. Like, it just has learned how to speak cursive. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one giant mumble. The same January energy feels like it's the same in May type of thing. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, one really major milestone that I definitely want to talk about is Kyan getting matched with Teddy. Mm-hmm. So tell everybody a little bit about that, because you're about to go to a 2-week boot camp here shortly. So I just want everyone to know about that.
Okay. So I could tell from a very early age that Kyan's personality lit up and changed when she was around animals, but more specifically dogs. So I started looking into having service dogs for her when she was about 2, maybe 3 years old. We started this journey. Well, I found out that it's better to wait to get your service dog until your child is older, because then they can handle the changes through adolescence. And especially if a dog only lives for 10 years is the lifespan for a working service dog, then it's easier for them to transition also through puberty and everything with a dog still in hand, versus if you give them too early and now you have to deal with all these sudden changes that's happening internally. And the loss of your dog. So I knew that it was all going to happen the way it needed to happen, but what that looked like, I had no idea. So, in January, February, they let me know that, or the agency that we were using let me know that they think that they found a dog that is a possible match for Kyan, because one of the things that you have to do is you have to get matched with the dog as a handler. And I cannot take on a high energy dog. I cannot. I will not. That's one of the beautiful things that I've learned within these past few years is boundaries, and the incredible amount of power that you reclaim to yourself when you say no and you mean it. And all of a sudden the world, the universe, earth gives you things because you said no. It is opening up space for the things that are meant to be said yes to. You know what I mean? And so they connected me with an agency, and this agency obviously is God. Every single thing from the dog's name is a God wink. We got matched with the world's best dog for Kyan, and his name is Teddy. The dog that I've had since he was 5 weeks old, he's turning 9 years old. His name is Bear. So now we have a Teddy and we have a Bear. I mean, it doesn't get more ideal than that. We're going to Orlando in the middle of July to do 2-week, very intense handler training. And then by the end of July, we will be bringing Teddy home to live with us and to watch Kyan completely transform. You guys, she is going to be a completely different being.
And it's so obvious. You posted a few pictures and shared with me some stuff of when you went to meet Teddy and Kyan met Teddy. And it literally was like this whole other child coming to life. And it was just very emotional, even just seeing a picture of it. I can't even imagine as a parent being there and watching it and seeing it. And yeah, what's now to come when this becomes her life partner, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I said before I took her on that trip, I felt like I was taking a toddler onto the airplane. And on the return, I felt like I was bringing home a 6-year-old little girl. It was night and day different. She got to interact with other children that had special abilities like her. And I think that also helped because the girls that she was around were more like level 1, level 2 autism. And them including her I have so many pictures I have yet to share because I'm again in a new era of my life and I love my boundaries. They're so hot. You guys, you need boundaries. I could go on for an hour and a half about why we must all use boundaries, but I won't. And these pictures is my boundary because they're so beautiful. They're so mine. And I just cherish them. Someday I will post them, but there are pictures of 5 little girls surrounding Kyan and Kyan just smiling so big with the same aged, same girls, all have dogs. And it's like she joined a club. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think that is going to be one of the most amazing life experiences ever. And again, just to be part of that, like I don't have anybody in my world who has an autistic child, and like it's a whole new thing. And just having been with your family last November and knowing that I get to go and spend time again and see Kyan with Teddy and all the things, it's as someone who doesn't have kids, this is like absolutely the next best thing for sure.
Yeah. And the outrageous amount of support that we have continued to receive from you, your family, it's just, wow. I just am, when we first started this podcast and you'd be like, Sasha, it's okay to say it. Just say it. Because I was just I wasn't authentically I was so worried about who I would offend and I would be saying sorry and stuff like that. Yeah, no. So God is so good, girl. And he is taking care of me and taking care of my family. And all because I had to take a step back this past year to find true alignment. And that is including with the dog.
Yeah. Yeah. And another major life movement, the job situation. So let's talk about that.
Now let's talk about the job situation. Everyone, someday, not today, not anytime soon, but someday we will be able to paint a beautiful story about all that has happened in my past. But let me tell you, God likes to shake me because he knows that if I am not shaken or stirred, I'm not going to move, honey. Like, I don't need to move. I don't need to. But in April, it basically came to light that it was best for me to step away from my corporate America job and to pour into myself, and more importantly, pour into and give my energy to those who cherish and value it. Because I can do anything, but if you're not valuing it, like, why? You know? And so right now I have the blessing, and it is an honor to say that I have fully stepped into the lead role of Project Intentional. It's a 1099, but that's okay because it's what's, you know, regardless, I am doing what my calling is. I'm proud of myself. I'm fully stepping into entrepreneurship. I cannot believe it. It is so wild to think, like, a year ago, if you would have said this to me, I would have been like, no, I'm not. But like, thankfully, with your support and the support of the people that I've had the privilege of working hand in hand with, people know what my strengths are. And so they lean into those multi-faceted ways of letting me do public speaking or help someone learn about LinkedIn or go provide something to my community through Project Intentional. It's all coming together. It's literally all flowing together finally. And it had to start with a boundary, with saying no and accepting when you're shaken and when you're stirred, there's usually a reason for it.
And you had talked about stepping away from LinkedIn and, going on your own, I think like a year and a half ago, right? And I think it's such a good reminder that everything happens when it is supposed to happen. And when you try to force something, it is not going to work. And you're going to experience stress and frustration and irritation. And it takes the joy out of something that would probably otherwise be very joyful. And that's been my own journey with everything from my own business to my own wellness to learning how to coach people, understanding that everybody has a different approach and timing matters, understanding the signs of timing, when it's going to work and when you're trying to force something that isn't ready to blossom. And it's just, I think, one of those things that when you go through enough experiences, then you start to appreciate the pace of life and the pace of the way you do things to ease up on the stress and frustration and the pressure and all of the things that come when you are trying to do something that is not ready yet to be done.
Yeah. I mean, the flow, right? That's been between Diana and I, my close friend Diana and we labeled this year from January, basically flow. Like, if it does not feel like flow, like, that's your intuition. Like, it's a barrier for a reason.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. And
Absolutely.
For me, it's simplify, right? If this is not adding value to my life, providing that return on investment, my time and my energy, and I define value, right? I think we have these ideas of what success and value and what matters. But what sometimes people don't fully appreciate is we have different ideas of how those things are defined. And not one is right and one is wrong. They're different. And that is totally okay. It is okay to be different. And it's when you grow into who you are and are confident in who you are, your goals, your values, your priorities, your core principles, being able to appreciate that someone else has different ones, and we can both still be cool. Like, I don't know, that to me is flow, right? That's why you and I synced immediately, really, truly.
Yeah. Going off of what you just said, right? Retweet, all of that. When was the last time, listeners, that you defined success for yourself. I'm not saying like what Forbes tells you to define as success. This last year when I stepped away from everything, really, truly, I had to do that. If you guys remember, on July 29th, I had received an email that had stated that my friend had died by suicide. And that really shook me, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. When God wants to shake you, he will shake you, you guys. And he will, you got to listen. Because if you don't listen, it's not flow. If it's not flow, you're going to run into barriers until you let it flow. But I realized what I was trying to define as success is something as simple as there's a woman who has worked at the school. She's been at the preschool for like 40 plus years. And every person hugs this woman. Everyone hugs her. How is that not success? How is that not a life of success? And that, in that instance, because I was just really trying to absorb all of life and taking lessons from everywhere. I was like, I am rerouting, I'm recalculating, I'm redoing all of what success was told to me to look like. And that's what that reminded me of what you just went off of.
Yeah. No, and it's once you have that approach, everything in life changes, truly. And it really does. And like you said, it opens up so many doors in perspective and abundance. And I mean, my gosh, just the few things that have happened for you because of you recently are testament to that. Speaking of God winks, let's talk about your re-entry into the fitness space.
Yeah. So I am killing it. I don't know how to, it's
You
just,
are.
I'm like in a really healthy place. Like here's an admission. When we were doing the podcast a few years ago, I never listened to them because that's just where I was. That's who I had to accept. There will be a day where I will go back and I will listen to them, and I will listen to them so I can hold the woman that I was in that space and just like thank her for how strong she was and is. But like my fitness now, like I have people, it's beautiful. I've joined a community that I won somehow or an Instagram post. There were a ton of people who put their name in the hat, and it was definitely a God wink because my friend who had died by suicide was planning on going to that gym. And so I hadn't been in the gym because of my loss, his loss. And so that's one thing. But then, these peptides, like you guys look at me, like, I don't know. There's just my running, my roller skating, lifting, my momentum, my ambition, my fire, my self has returned to me. And it's in all the ways, not just fitness, in like every way. Like I'm so on fire and I'm so excited. Like, don't want to throw this out there and say, I'm so ready to come back, but like, I'm going to be back more than 2 times a year type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel really good.
Yeah. And I might be stepping out of bounds here, but I'm going to just, from my own perception, I feel like your attitude and approach to fitness and health is one out of kindness and love for yourself. And before, it was out of loathing and punishment.
Oh, for sure. 1000%. Like, here, this is wild, people. Sasha's 7-day is finally back. Okay. Where did that come from? It came from that exact same thing, is the thing that Sasha was trying to teach herself all along is finally happening. And I'm 100% in alignment with who I am. And because of that, people are like, oh yeah, so that program that we had going was actually legit, where we taught ourselves self-love and compassion and practices of attitude of gratitude, PFF, BFF, like what is happening, right? And it's all in alignment, and it's with that grace and like calling yourself back to yourself.
And you know what is so awesome about this is you are getting to that point a good, I think probably at least 5 years before I got to that point in my life with that actual mindset shift. I had little shifts along the way, but not the complete shift. And I feel like you've made nearly a complete shift.
That is like probably the nicest, biggest compliment you've ever given me. I thank you so much.
It's just my own personal and professional observation. So yeah, let's talk about Sasha's 7-day, because you're about to kick it off. I know we're recording this on a Tuesday. I think you kick it off on Friday, right? So listeners, I know you're going to hear this on Monday. You can join in a Sasha's 7-day any point in the week. You don't have to wait for the day that it starts.
Yep.
But I think you're going to love it if you haven't already done it. Definitely get into the Facebook group so you're ready for when the next one launches, but definitely check it out. We'll have the link in the show notes. But let's share with listeners, because we probably talked about it at some point, but tell them what it is.
Sure. So, and that's actually what attracted us to one another, is this isn't just like a fad. Like, we're not trying to like solve for a world problem within a certain, well, I guess it is within a certain time span, but you basically take 7 days, and we start on a Friday because weekends are the hardest. So we're going to go into it with the momentum that we have so that we can secure our success by the end of it. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, right? And we just focus on getting 7 hours of sleep, making sure that you're hydrated, you're moving your body at however you move your body, but you got to move your body, eating PFF, your BFF, but with even taking that a little bit step further and making sure that you're being conscious of the ingredients that are going into your body. So we have a list of suggested foods: attitude, gratitude, or prayer. What am I missing?
And I think what you're missing that I want to drill in, this is not a weight loss challenge.
Oh, no. It never has been. In fact, I remember when I first started this, I would tell people, because I haven't weighed myself since March of 2021. And so I don't want anyone else to weigh themselves. Like, we're not defined by our number, but I can tell you that I literally this last week was wearing the same shorts that I wore as my mom bought me when I was a sophomore in high school. So like, why does it matter how much I weigh? It doesn't. So that's not it. It's about becoming the healthiest version of yourself so that you can show up the very next day and you already have like some fabric wound up for you for the next day. Like, you're setting yourself up for success for your 98-year-old self to be able to walk into your own birthday party. And I posted this, and be able to recall every person's name in the room, and to walk there and blow out your candles, and to leave exhausted, but full of happiness and knowing that you made it. You are successful. You are a successful human who is fully capable until the day that you get to go on to whatever's next.
Well, and that's what made me confident in aligning with you in the first place 4 years ago, is because this isn't some kind of quick fix. This is trying to establish lifestyle foundations. And in the world that we live, this is really challenging, right? Because everyone's just looking for the quick fix. You had texted me earlier about 75 hard, because somebody was asking you about 75 hard. And I see this all the time, and I've never really said out loud what I think about it. People ask me, and I will tell them privately, and sometimes in a well-being training that I'm facilitating, somebody will ask me. But maybe this is a good time to share my thoughts and opinions on 75 hard.
I'm ready for it. I am ready for it. I know I'm ready for the in and the out of all that, because I do 7 days.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like anything else, it's very nuanced to who you are and what you're trying to do. So if somebody's coming to me asking me, what do I think about 75 hard? I will always turn it back and say, what do you think about 75 hard? Why is it curious to you? What questions do you have? Are you thinking about doing it? What outcomes are you looking for by doing it? What's going to happen when the 75 days are over? How is your feeling of self-worth going to be impacted if you do or don't complete it, right? Some people, if they fall off, they get defeated and demoralized, and it becomes a very negative experience. Some people just find that grit and say, okay, it's good to reset. I'm right back on it. So I think you have to know yourself to know how this is going to work for you. What I will say, hands down, no matter what, the physical part of it is not good for you physically. It's not. It is not a good idea to do 75 days in a row of that much physical activity. If I recall correctly, it's like 90 minutes a day or 2 times. It's a lot. Number one, for most people, that is not realistic. To also have balance in your life. So what is going to be neglected in these 75 days for you to complete these other things, because something is. There's no way it can't be. And what physical sacrifices are you going to be making? You're going to run the risk for overuse injuries. You're not really getting the benefit, because rest and recovery is part of the repair and regrowth process. Well, if you're doing something 75 days in a row, you are not resting and recovering. So you're actually not gaining any kind of physical benefit from that. In fact, you might be doing yourself some harm. So do I think it's an interesting way to go about a very mentally challenging task? Sure, right? Dig deep, you can do it, push through. But at what cost and why? Like, again, what's going to happen when your 75 days are done? Then what? This is where we get into all or nothing mode, right? I'm going to do it all for 75 days and then I'm going to do nothing for 6 months, right? And this is why I don't like weight loss challenges. You can lose weight. That's not hard. But, and I talked about this on an Instagram post, I am on a mission to even just get the whole weight loss theme out there, because that's not what you're trying to do. Most people are not trying to lose weight. You're actually trying to modify your body composition. And so let's speak accurately about what we're trying to do so that we can know how to actually go about doing that.
Hey, how do you go about doing that?
Well, gosh, that is also very nuanced, right? It's dietary intake modification. So that might mean eat more. It might mean eat differently. It might mean eat more often or less often, or more of some things and less of other things. It's different for everybody, because I don't know what you specifically are doing to help you know how to modify. It's also going to be probably movement modification. That might be move less, might be move more, move differently. We need to do probably some strength training, because muscle is your best friend. And maybe some cardio, but I don't know, because I don't know what your day-to-day is, right? Certainly sleep and stress management. And yes, we do have to talk about hormones, because they matter, especially as you get to the phase of life where you're not producing them anymore. They really, really matter. So again, there's a whole bunch of factors that play a role in how you modify your body composition. So we're always looking for just do this, except that isn't the answer. And then that's when people get very frustrated, right? Because they think they're doing all the right things, but if you're not seeing the result, then it isn't all the right things. There's something in the formula that's not quite right. And it'll probably take a little bit to figure out what that is.
Could also just be consistency.
For sure. Yep. Slow and steady wins the race. And nobody likes that, right? Because we want the instant result. And with little to no effort, that'd be awesome, except it's not reality. And honestly, it's not awesome, because you generally don't value what you don't work for. And that's the thing. When you have put in the time, the effort, the consistency, and you see those results and they're sustainable and the results will never, ever, ever go away, you value that. And then you commit to continuing doing what's going to help you keep those results. Or if you still have, farther to go, then to continue modifying and doing that step approach to get you where you want to go. But if you get a result instantly, you're like, oh, that was easy. And then you stop doing all the things that got you there. And then the result goes away and like, oh, well, that didn't work. No, you didn't do what was necessary to make it work is generally the answer.
Yesterday, there was a little 8th grade gal in my weightlifting class, and I went over to her after, said, I hope you lift for the rest of your life. I hope you remember this moment and it makes you lift for the rest of your life.
I love that.
If she listens to me, lifting will change the trajectory of your life. If you are listening to this and you want to know how to change your life right now, it's literally lifting. Literally.
I mean, I didn't know that I was going to get to be grateful in 3rd grade when I started gymnastics, and we were introduced to weight training when I was in 3rd grade. But absolutely, like, one of the best things to come out of my gymnastics experience is a very early introduction to strength training. And I never have not strength trained. And yeah, you take that for granted, because I didn't know that it was going to set me up for the success later on. But I learned that almost 30 years ago and have been preaching this for almost 30 years. So I love that it's now a mainstream message. That's awesome. And the more people that get on it sooner rather than later, and women, especially you, but men too, but ladies, I'm telling you, You need your muscles. You really do.
I told you this last time we talked. I feel like no one listens to you. And I feel like now they are finally starting to listen to you, but like not, but will. You know what I mean? And it just irritates me because like I also am guilty of that. So that's why now I listen to you, right? Now it's like, well, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm just doing this because you have never led me astray, right? You're always just telling me because you're like, all right, well, that's cool. But like, I've already told you, I've experienced this. I don't want you to experience this. So I'm giving you like a hand. So I do value and appreciate that. And I do see your discipline and your dedication in and out every day. And I think it's wonderful. It's super hot and I'm proud of you. You're a self-made woman and it's awesome and it's wonderful. And I haven't even talked about your year this year. This has almost been all about me. So my apologies people, but not really. Ha 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 ha.
No, not at all. You have so many good things. They hear me all the time. The listeners know what's going on with me. I'm not interesting right now, but I appreciate that very much. And I mean, certainly have learned along the way. And I also know people do need to experience it for themselves. And like, it's just like with your job situation, right? Like when they're ready and it's right, they'll do it. And yeah, some will say, oh, I wish I would have listened to you sooner. And some will say, I wish I would have listened to you sooner. But I didn't, and I'm okay with that. And now I'm listening to you, and now I'm glad, right? And I love everybody no matter what. No matter what, you want to jump right on board because you trust me right away and just do it, awesome. You want to take your time and figure it out yourself and circle back, awesome. You want to take your time, figure it out yourself and never circle back, also awesome. Like my value and my worth does not depend on anybody else's outcome. I learned that a long time ago because I know that I am always doing my best to give people accurate information that I firmly know works. And when I learn something different, when I learn that, oh, what I thought was right is wrong, I will tell you. And a lot of that was from my own experience, right? Growing up with the food pyramid, this is what we're taught. So yeah, my early days, of course I told people, oh, go low fat. And watch your sodium intake. Of course I told that because that's what I was taught. And I didn't know better until I knew better. And I only knew better because I realized for me, like, this isn't working and it doesn't make sense. And so I want to take a step back and figure out, okay, the things they're telling us to do isn't working. Well, why? Is it me? And no, actually, it's not me. It's the information is wrong. But the thing is, Sasha, I'm just me, right? Some little small town girl from Wisconsin. I'm not some medical doctor. And I have people, well, what are you, a doctor? No, I'm not actually. I'm a girl who's lived life and has figured it out. And I promise you, there's a lot of doctors who don't know anything about this. So I know sometimes like we need to have like the credentials behind
title.
Right. And I get it. Like some people, that is what builds their trust. And then I'm not your girl. I'm not the person that you're going to want to listen to. And that's fine. Like there's enough people out there for everyone, but that's kind of,
enough, but I say sunshine.
Yes.
There's enough sunshine for all of us. Like literally no one gets that. Like, yes, you can go out there. There's enough for all of us.
Yeah, I'm just here to share my experiences, my information, what I've seen over 30 years working with thousands of people, as well as my own personal experiences, which is why I do always do the best I can to be a guinea pig in any way I can before I start talking about something. And because not that my experience is going to be your experience, but I want to know what my experience is so I can talk about it and at least give you a perspective that this is an experience and it's mine. It might be yours. Yours might be different. I don't know. And you're not going to know until you do it. Right. And that's the thing. And then we'll go from there. But.
I love that. Yeah. So stepping fully into me, I'm going to crush Project Intentional to the best of my abilities. I have my 12-hour race this weekend I'm really excited for. So, that's the one I do.
Dizzy Goat, which is the best name for a race ever.
I am in good luck because they are saying that it'll be 98 degrees out, which is what I thrive in. It's going to be such a treat for me to be just hauling for 12 hours. So this will be past it, but you guys
and I would shrivel up and die and wilt in that.
You just love it. I know. And Kyan's doing amazing. I'll have to make sure to get you guys pictures so that you can, or even videos so that you can post that. I'm in a very healthy place. I'm very thankful to be here. Was it fun getting here? 0%. Do not recommend. It wasn't fun. Someday will I recommend? Yeah, sure. But like, not fun. I look at it, 33 was the best year of my life. 34, 35, 36 were terrible. And 37 is like, well, maybe not 36 wasn't terrible. 37 was like, here I am. But like,
and you would not have this had you not had 34 and 35.
Exactly.
That you wouldn't, right?
Exactly.
That's the thing is, and I know we only want to be here for the good stuff. This is called life, my friends. And if you think you're going to avoid life or avoid yucky things in life, you're just delusional. I'm sorry. I'm telling it like it is. And it's one of these things where you understand that life is full of all different types of things, and just be there for all of it. Because when you resist the yucky stuff's going to happen anyway. It is. You're only stifling your own process through it. And some stuff is yuckier than others. There's no doubt about that. And some of it we've invited into our worlds, and some of it we didn't. That is also just called life. And that's why your support network is so important. That's why having the skills and tools to dig deep and reach out and do some of that inner work and feel your feels and own your emotions and be an active participant in your life, all parts of it, not just the good stuff. I remember back to a conversation we had on this podcast where, I had like that really rough year in 2023, lots of universe stuff was like, here, Michelle, here. And talking about 2024 was amazing, right? And it's the same. Like, I'm not like worried that, oh my gosh, don't get too excited about the good stuff because it's going to get bad. No, I get excited about the good stuff. Why would I not get excited about the good stuff? You should. And when the yucky stuff comes, I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it because this is what we're here for.
I know. Now, I'm learning that consistency.
Was that my approach 20 years ago? Oh, hell no. No, not at all. Was that my approach 10 years ago? Let me do math. 42? Close. Yeah. That probably has been my approach for roughly 10 years.
Yeah. It's this consistency. It's so important to feel those feelings. You have to. Yeah. You have to.
Yeah. And it right. The magic comes from the mess. I mean, that is just the reality of it. You think you're going to have magic without mess? Maybe you're going to be an incredibly rare human being. So embrace the mess and know that you can get through the mess. That's what we're here to do. We all do it. And it's really up to each of us how we get through it. That's really the key.
I love that. Well, I look forward to the next time I get to join everyone and update you on all the wonderful gifts that we're going through, because that's what it feels like right now. I'm receiving it and I'm just full of gratitude for everything that's happening, and truly, truly, truly cannot wait to see what the future holds. And you guys, dream big. Literally, dream big.
Yes. And celebrate your people who are succeeding. Whether you're succeeding or not, celebrate your people who are. Like Sasha said, there's enough sunshine for everybody. And I think it is really an expression of genuine love when you can be happy for someone when you're not in the best place yourself, right? And it's hard to do that because it's easy to get into like, oh, but me, and it's not fair. And trust me, I've lived in that space too. It is so much more fulfilling to be truly happy for someone, regardless of where you happen to be. It really is. So that's one thing I will suggest. And just for a little update, heads up for listeners, there will be no July episodes, but I have some really fantastic guests that will be on for August and the rest of the year. And I'm sure Sasha will make an appearance definitely at the end of the year for a final 2025 recap. Isn't it wild that we're talking about like the second half of the year already? it's been full and fulfilling, to say the least. I know, like, my first quarter was incredible. Second quarters were wrapping up, equally incredible in very different ways. Got a lot of fun stuff on the agenda for the next few months, and just really looking forward to embracing every moment for the next, 180 plus days to wrap up 2025.
I thought you were going to say 180 years.
Well, no, God, no, that's way too many. I don't want to be around that long. Oh, no.
I was like, we're going there, everyone. 180 years.
I mean, with these peptides, I feel like it probably could.
Okay. My last thing before, I was in North Carolina, and then I'm ending. I promise people. I was in North Carolina, and I had to enter my birth date, or like how old I was. And I typed in 27, and I was like, 27, what the heck? And like shook my head, and I go 17. I'm like, what is happening? I was like, oh, I'm 37. I don't feel like that. Like, I literally don't feel like that. Like, I thought I was 27, legitimately laughed at myself, put 17, and then was like, girl, that's why I say time is cursive. That's why I said it at the beginning.
Just wait till you're 52 and you're like, wait, what? No, how can no, wait, let me do math. Oh my God, I am 52. Oh, okay. No, it's a little bit of a mind fucker. It really is, but it's okay. All right, my dear. Well, thank you for coming on and just sharing time with me, with us. I absolutely adore and love you, and am really so grateful to be in your life, and just to get to experience a whole new world that would never, ever, ever have been exposed to ever, if not for you. So thank you. You make me a better being.
And you make me a better being. No.
I know. All right, we're done fangirling and crushing on each other. Everybody, now it's your time to go and be a better being.
Thank you for listening to the Be a Better Being podcast. We hope that what you heard today inspires you to embrace this journey of life with an open mind, a kind heart, and a willingness to learn and evolve. If you have a show topic idea or would like to be a guest, please visit betterbeings.net and fill out a contact form. Until next time, go and be a better being.